Hey guys, you're listening to Stacking Pennies. Corey LaJoie and Ryan Flores here. Wild week in terms of my life and career. And we're going to get right into it. First ever driver trade between Justin Haley and I. I'll give you the scoop. Buckle up, and SVG is also stopping by studio to talk about it as well. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Buckle up. This is Stacking Pennies.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
And we're in it. Hey guys, Corey LaJoie here, driver of the number 51 Ford Dark Horse Mustang. Alongside Ryan Flores, front tire changer for Ryan Blaney's Ford Black Horse Mustang. Dark Horse. I'm new to all this.
Dark Horse.
I don't have the talking points yet.
More importantly, we're back, baby. The Panthers are back. That's a big deal yesterday.
Andy Dalton was slinging the rock, bro.
I tried
Beautiful
to tell.
thing.
I tried to tell these guys, if you need your team fixed, just go get a 36, 37-year-old.
33-year-old vet.
36.
I know, but I'm 33.
No, you're 33. See, like, that's what I tell them.
Turning 33. If you're watching on YouTube today, because this is dropping on Wednesday, if you're listening to it Sirius XM, I'm turning 33 on Wednesday. Happy birthday to
we
me.
got you a new ride.
Yeah, but here you go. Here's a new car. Wild turn of events, because normally you have some sort of a inclination things are going to happen in this business. Normally there's writing on the wall and some, there's no really surprises. But this, I was a little bit caught off guard. Tuesday night was when it all went down, and from the time of about 6:30 p.m. when everything was just like kind of trucking along, see what was happening, and then about 8:15, your entire setup of what you are doing with your career changed.
You were at my house.
I was at your house.
You're like, I gotta go outside, make a call.
No, I was receiving a call.
Yeah. You gotta make a call. Yeah, I gotta answer this call.
But the first call was like business as usual. Couple good runs last couple of weeks. Let's keep this thing going. Hoorah, go team. Couple hours later, and you've been traded. There are
right at the deadline.
Right at the deadline. The wire came through right in the nick of time. So for me, I'm a big T-chart kind of fella. When I do major life decisions, particularly with my career, it comes down to a T-chart. Pros, cons. Write it out. I don't see very many cons of this situation, to be honest with you. Because even though the 7 car in our team has had a great month, we're on side before I stuck it in the fence. Got some assistance getting stuck in the fence. At Bristol, we were going to go for another top 10 day, which would have been 3 top 10s in the last month. To get in with another process, new people who are excited to have you over there and think their cars are just as good as the one I'm driving, to integrate with that system, to get in the Ford camp, get with the feel, how the simulator and how that correlates to reality. I think that there are a lot of positives to be able to jump in a car that you're going to be able to work towards the future with 7 races to go and just knock the new off of it.
Yeah, you said something that was interesting to me, because I think you were conflicted at first. And when I got to Bristol on Saturday, I think a lot of people said that you had 1,000-mile stare. Was that what it is? 100 miles in the press conference. It was kind of awkward. I didn't see it, but I heard that it was just a little awkward, and you kind of just sat there and didn't say much. But I said, how was Sparks when you first got to see him? Like the team guys, right? Because those are the people. You talk to the agents, you talk to the team owners, but the people that you're actually in the trenches with. Those are the conversations that can either be really good or really awkward. And you said, I just have this feeling that we've all let each other down.
Yeah.
And I would that kind of didn't catch me off guard, but I was like, oh, that's a different way to put it. And look, I think everybody's grown and inspire. You guys have started like you said. I was in the shop powder coating stuff when you guys moved in the shop over here in Concord, and it's grown. Obviously, they've gotten a lot of funding, brought in more cars, and new levels, new devils, right? And it just, for whatever reason or another, this year has been an overwhelming sense of just things not working out. Whether it's, this weekend, for instance, running top 10, running good, get wrecked by a lap car. Michigan, flip over going in a straight line. It's just a metaphor for your year. Like,
Yep.
okay.
Or even Bristol this weekend.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah.
You're checking your phone, but that's why I didn't hear what I literally just
I wasn't
said
listening to what
you're
you said.
not listening to anything I said. But
Well,
it's just a welcome.
Another one, Nashville is what I think back to. We're inside second lane. Joey wins the race. We're right behind him. The 9 rips our right front tire if we run 20 seconds.
Correct. It was that every week. And I think everybody there on the 7 car is capable of doing their job. It's just time for, and we say this a lot in the pit crew realm. You are good at this. It's just time to recreate yourself somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's time for you to go somewhere with fresh start and everybody fresh breath of air. And I think it was the same looking from the 51 and Justin's situation. Like, it seemed like they were all a little bit perturbed with each other as they got down the stretch. And it was like, okay, it made sense that for the last 7 races of the year, everybody knows everybody's going separate ways. Let's just do it now.
Yeah.
That way people aren't checked out. You get a good start on next year. And really, it's good to see that the business of racing has worked to where everybody can switch partners and work and intertwine and move forward.
It's not often that happens, right? Because there are tons of layers to the onion of how it all worked out, but Dickerson and Robbie Benton were the two that were kind of leading it, and the lawyers and this and that, and there's a lot of stuff that had to get worked out and sponsors passing through and vice versa. But just kudos to both those guys. A lot of it, we talked about it in that press conference, a lot of grace from Spire and Dickerson to allow me to go do it. I think that them allowing me to go to the 51 helps me in my career progress. The further it goes, the more people that can land a sponsor and go buy a ride or whoever it is. But now I get to earn my chance and integrate with that team and work with Chris Lawson and Tommy Baldwin and Robbie Benton and Rick Ware. Like, there's a lot of motivated and hungry guys that have won a lot of races over there that I'm excited to go to race with. Also bittersweet that you leave somewhere that you've grown up with. It's like breaking up with your high school girlfriend.
It's never going to last forever, though.
It's not going to last forever.
And I realized that a little bit when I did that piece with Mike Trower when he was on the Rainbow Warriors and I've talked about Abraham's book. Like, they were on such a run. It's so iconic, but it all came to an end at that 99 season, and it's going to. No matter what you do, every race team has always come to an end.
Yeah.
But I think it speaks volumes of you as a person. I've never even talked to Jeff Dickerson in my life, but for him to be the owner of the team and release you, but then also actively try to help you pursue your next opportunity, but to truly look out for you, there's a lot to commend there. So that's really cool. That's not something a lot of people have done historically in the sport.
Correct.
And when I look forward to the 51 team, man, I think you got some dogs in that place. I think that it's almost a spot where there's a lot of really talented racers that
didn't want to be in the corporate system.
No, that have kind of been ousted, almost like you have. I've been in the same situation you have. I think I see Tic Tac, a championship guy. He got an opportunity he was the crew chief for Zane Smith, won a championship, wanted to go cup racing, had to prove himself, went to Rick Ware. Jerry Kelly, he was the crew chief for the 2 car and the 22 for all of Brad Keselowski's years and championships for
car chief.
He was the car chief with Paul Wolf forever, right? He got let go from Penske. He ends up there. He's one of the absolute best racers I've ever been around, but like an underrated guy because he's not like a talker. He's a worker.
Right.
You got Tommy Baldwin, who's won a ton of races. You got Robbie Benton, who owned a successful Xfinity team. I made my first
Robbie even changed tires for me when I was running an ARCA car.
I made my first ever start as a tire changer for Robbie Benton. If it wasn't for Robbie Benton, I wouldn't be a tire changer.
Yeah.
Right? And then you look like even deeper. I'd say like Tim Brown is building suspension there. He's he's got the winningest guy at Bowman Gray.
Yeah.
Right? And like those guys that go to race Bowman Gray and race those are the racers of the world. Everybody else that pulls the strings in NASCAR, right? That makes the deals happen, that gets the money, gets that. There's a business side, but then you can only go as fast as the race car goes, and you need the racers that want to do this, that are bolting the stuff together, maximizing the parts on the OSS, doing this, doing that, doing the small things, getting the race cars to the track. Those are the ones that make the cars go fast. And I think that you have a lot of good guys and a great opportunity there to start fresh. Everybody gets a breath of fresh air. It's good for Justin because he was leaving too. He gets to go. And look, the 17 gets a fresh start too.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody can just breathe, 7 weeks, work together, and move forward.
Yeah, and a couple observations. I stopped by the shop this morning for the first time, brought everybody some Chick-fil-A biscuits to, buy their allegiance first day in.
Yeah.
No better way than through their stomach for the sausage burrito. Have you ever had the sausage burrito from Chick-fil-A?
I think I have. But if I'm going sausage burrito, I'm going Bojangles.
It's true. Nonetheless, where they're at is very similar to where Spire was last year. Before they moved shops and acquired 4 truck teams and had a bunch of people and, got really large, it's a very lean deal. You mentioned the people, but there's 25, 30 guys for those 2 cars. A couple cars less in rotation than what Spire had.
On Roush's
property. You wouldn't know where it's at because it's like where they.
I know exactly where it is.
It's in the old chassis shop.
Yep, it's right back. Yep, back.
There's no RWR sign. Nothing. There's a back door you go into and you get in there and build some race cars and go to the racetrack. So I appreciate that element of it too. It's small, it's nimble. There's not a lot of red tape to cross when it comes to branding or figuring out who makes what. It's very concise on who's making decisions and where they're going and what they're going to do. So
dude, just hit me like a ton of bricks.
What?
You can do the double now because they have an IndyCar team.
I'm not doing the double.
You can run an NHRA car. Hell, you can go ride dirt bikes.
I could do the quadruple.
You could do the quadruple.
Flat track, drag racing.
Wow.
IndyCar.
What an opportunity.
This really is. Look at this. Take my career to the next level.
So when we had Justin Haley in here last, we talked about doing the double. So do you think you'll do the 2025 double in the Rick Ware Racing 51 and then their IndyCar?
No.
You heard it here first, people. He's in. He's doing it. Bob Pockers, put out the announcement. Corey LaJoie,
not
2025 double. Eat your heart out, Kyle Larson.
Eat your heart out, guys. Before we get into Bristol, you mentioned about just all the little knickknacks and how you carry yourself through it, because this has been a fairly large life change, career change, and in the moment, it feels really big. So I made a little list of 4 things that I've realized through this process. Number 1, it's no mystery that this year has been like just a struggle with self-doubt and getting down and being in a mental rut with the yips or slump, whatever you want to call it, right? We've had speed. We haven't been able to finish races. We've had laid several eggs and have it run worth of shit.
The yips. You made me think of Ted Lasso. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Yips. But I've put in a lot of work, and you feel like you're told you're not good enough. Team wants to make a change, and you feel as low as you ever felt in your life. What I have realized there is only you can pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Nobody else is coming to help. You have people in your small circle that can reaffirm you and can help you out, but there's nobody up there that's going to get you out of the rut. It's only you can do it. Number 2, nothing is as good as it seems, or nothing's as bad as it seems. Adam Alexander told me that one time at doing Race Hub, but in life in general. Nothing's as bad as it really seems. You think that something's going absolutely terrible, and usually not that bad. And some of the best things that have happened in my life, they're not that good. And life just keeps on moving. Number 3, there's never a bridge worth burning in life. Not one. Especially in an industry as small as racing, but also just in life. Inevitably, you're going to have to walk. You're going to see somebody. What's the other saying?
Be careful of the toes you step on today, because they could be connected to the ass you got to kiss tomorrow. I said that Tom Baldwin this week.
That's true. I like my analogy better. Just don't burn bridges. It's not worth doing, but especially
everybody listening is going to remember the toes and the ass.
There's been a lot of people that have learned from our innuendos, or what's the metaphors?
Whatever.
Nobody knew what loaded for bear meant.
I'm telling you, a lot of people were like, I'm with you on that one.
I'm glad we told them. Also, Jordan Bianchi cleared up. Some people think that it's down the pipe. It's actually down the pike, like down the turnpike. Didn't know that. No, I don't use that one very often. Number 4. I lose sight of this often. I think I've said it here before, but we and a lot of people in the industry, if you make it to a professional level, you have to be very particular about just your control over the things that you can control, right? Because some people even had OCD over it, but we are very particular, and we focus on the things that we can control, and we continue to progress our life to get to the level that we are compensated to be a professional at doing any individual craft, whether it's me driving race cars, you changing tires, or the guys behind the scenes doing this show. It takes a lot of work to continue to re-evolve yourself. But I forget often that the Lord closes doors and opens doors, and he wants the very best for your life. Not just because I can only do and put together things in my life for just good. Like I can bend and manipulate and have conversations and leverage relationships to have just a good situation. But the Lord, whether it's driving a race car, if he wants me there or not, he will open the door because he wants the very best for my life, for my family, to be able for me to have a platform to have, whether it's have the show, he can shut the door on this anytime he wants to. But I often forget that the Lord wants the very best, and I can only do just good, and it's probably only temporary. So I have to let go and just let this thing go where it wants to. And it's a perfect case this week that I didn't do any sort of, didn't leverage, didn't scheme behind the scenes, didn't try to make anything work that wasn't supposed to work. You literally just get traded to the next chapter of your life, and you just put your big boy pants on and show up to work on Monday morning and get after it.
Well, when you say let go, right? It's not letting go, being like, all right, whatever happens.
Not making phone calls. It's not being diligent.
But it's you work. It's like the little kid from Will Smith's son in that movie.
It's a sad ass movie. What's that?
What's that called? Where he's trying to get
where he's homeless.
He's homeless and he's working all the time. Come on,
Pursuit of Happiness.
He tells that story of the guy that's out in the ocean and he's like floating around in the ocean, and he's like, someone comes to pick him up and they're like, "Hey, get in." He's like, "Nope, God will save me."
Yeah.
And then another boat comes up to pick him up, and they're like, "Get in." He's like, "Nope, God will save me." And he ends up dying, and he gets to heaven. He's like, "God, why don't you save me?" He says, "I sent you 2 boats, dummy."
Yeah, get on the boat.
So like, they're having faith is important, and but you have to also work, and you also have to put the work in, and you have to continue to be the best that you can be.
Yeah.
And you, like you said, you control what you can control. But there's stuff that's out of your control. And when you worry about that, it consumes you.
Yeah.
And it's like the green Jeep, right? If you're looking for green Jeeps, you're going to see a lot of them. But if you never even think about a green Jeep, you're never going to know how many you saw. If you worry about the problems and the stuff you can't control, you're going to see it all day, all the time.
Yep.
And it's going to consume you. But when you worry about the few things that you can do to be better, your life gets way more abundant. And that's something I worked on to, that like gratitude. What am I controlling? I completely immersed myself last year, and we ended up going on a championship run. Now, is that why we won the championship? No. But is that why I was able to be successful in my small role to contribute to that? Yes, because I control what I can control, focused on my process, and didn't worry about everything else that I couldn't. Right. And it's relatable to anything in life. And really, like, you sit here and we say that it's a big life change. You're around a lot of different people. You're going to be flying on a different plane. You're doing the exact same job.
Yeah.
You have to drive the Concorde right here by the house, other than Mooresville.
Yep.
And it's like 1,000% first world problems. So, it's going to be, as much as we want to make it like, oh, man, I got fired. It's pretty sweet driving cup cars.
It's a good deal.
There's a lot of people driving street stocks around the world that love to be in your situation.
For sure.
So I'm pumped for you. I think it's a nice reset. Professionally, you get more input, fresh breath of air for everybody involved. Move on. Finish the last 7 races of the year and try to get Rick Ware.
So all that being said, news came out Saturday morning. An hour later, you were putting your suit on for one last dance with the 7 team, and I wanted to make sure that I did those guys a good job, and it started off well. I think we unloaded. We were 13th on the board. Made the second round of qualifying. I think we've done that once or twice this year. I'm not exactly sure. Made the second round of qualifying last year as well at Bristol. So Bristol's been one of our better ones. And qualified 9th. Right behind our teammate Carson, who also has been having a stellar year.
You raced at him in the first stage.
No, I was easy on him.
It looked like you guys were racing hard.
No, I was just cruising behind him.
So you started to see the strip of PJ1 on the bottom. How big was that to keep your left rear end at the keep drive?
You gotta hit it. Now you can maintain on the middle there. NASCAR went kind of rogue there on spraying it. Nobody anticipated them spraying it. We all anticipated resin. So resin and PJ1 traction adhesive are 2 different things.
Yeah, we talked
I think
about
it was
that
good,
last week.
actually. I think that it was a good move.
Yeah, because the Xfinity race was terrible. It got top dominant.
Yep.
Like, everybody can say what they want, but when I think, and we just go out on my terms here, when you watch qualifying, it's everybody wraps the bottom as fast as they can.
Yep.
It's plain to see who shears off the line, who has a good lap, who has a bad lap, who misses it, who doesn't roll enough throttle, who does what. When you get to the top, and it hit me when I was watching Dale Jr. behind Ryan Truex in the Xfinity race. Dale Jr. was so much faster than Ryan Truex. He tried to get by him. He just couldn't do anything.
Can't do it.
Couldn't do. He was out of tools to try to use.
You
couldn't
can't
even run into him.
No, you run into him, you just move them up a little bit more, and there's more grip up
And
there.
they just bounce off the fence and throttle up.
Yep.
It needs to be it needs to be code red. Smack the button of making Bristol a one lane around the bottom, because you get your car to work. I think we spray 3 inches of PJ1 on the bottom. That way, if you miss it or your car doesn't work in it, you get shuffled out and you get passed.
Yeah.
Because right now, you literally
which
you add the layer.
Which is so bizarre to me, because they reconfigured Bristol because people were complaining that it was a one groove racetrack.
It's okay to say that you're wrong. It's okay to accept that we're wrong, because as humans, we often think we're smarter than we are, and we take something that's good, that sells out, and we're going to make it better. And guess what? Get the bleep button. We f***ed it up. Hey, dude, we messed it up. That's okay. Let's go back to what it was when the place was sold out and Ward Burton wanted to shoot something through Dale Jr.'s window net.
Yeah.
Like, we can get there because you guys can shove each other around. And then when you miss it, you pay the price.
Yeah.
If you miss the bottom and you get shuffled to the outside, guess what? Now you're 15.
Yeah.
Now, Chris Gayhart and them don't want that, right? Like, if you're at a big team, Kyle Larson even said, I thought it was a good race. Well, yeah.
He won by 6 seconds.
Yeah, like, absolutely thought it was a good race. But those guys will still be good when it's on the bottom.
Yeah.
But, like, that is a race. There's a lot of people, a lot of hype. That is a race that we have to figure out to be a great race. That has to be something.
But what do we call a great race, though?
Something with more highlights than Owen Larson riding around in the window of the car after the race. There was no highlights from that race at all. We ran out of film on the highlights from 2002. Yeah. We ran out of like the highlights that we've had. We don't have any. There's nothing that we can put on TV to say this race was great.
It's the NASCAR playoffs, and after a chaotic first round, the field is now down to 12. Jamie McMurray joins the gang as we take you inside playoff race number 4 at Kansas. Be on the inside. NASCAR Inside the Playoffs on True TV and Max.
Several things. Cars are durable. They don't break. Right front tires don't go down. If you drive in the back of somebody's left rear, your right front fender doesn't cave in and you get a tire rub and you have to pit. You know, like the noses, unless the 41 checks Joey up and I smash in the back of them, you generally don't spin somebody out. You just hit them like a slide hammer. You know,
I've got an answer to your question. What makes a great race?
Well, hang on. The cars, if you looked, I don't know, this is generalizing a bit. If you looked at the maybe second in qualifying to 35th, it was about 100th a spot. So the story you have to tell on the broadcast is that just if you the 19 top 5 car speeds on pit road stuck, is that a bad thing that the field is so hard that you can't make a mistake and overcome it?
The field is so even. What you need for a great race is multiple opportunities for the team and the driver to be better than other teams and drivers.
Yep.
Right now, we had 3 pit stops.
Yeah.
There was no opportunities to be better or worse than somebody else. There's 3. You had, if your car was substantially better than the guy in front of you, you couldn't get by them.
Yeah.
So you didn't have any tools or opportunity to make up track position that way.
Yeah.
Since there was only 3 pit stops and no tire fall off, there was a straightforward strategy. So there was no opportunities for your crew chief to be better or worse than another crew chief. And that's what you need in a great race. That basically this weekend was an F1 race.
Yeah.
It's straightforward. You'll go if you have a mistake on pit road, you lose track position, you don't finish well. If you maintain on pit road, wherever you have a good choose or not, to within 2 or 3 spots where you came off pit road is where you run, and then you pit again. And as long as everybody executes, you're within 2 or 3 spots of where you were running, and that's where you finish.
Yeah.
We are not. That is not our idea. That is not our identity. That is not our DNA, and that is a huge race that we need to fix. That obviously, and Martinsville. I don't know.
One knob they could turn tomorrow is, I don't know why we didn't run the short track diffuser and blade.
They can just, dude, honestly, we can unbolt everything off the bottom of the cars.
Yeah.
Like, it is code red time. It is time for, like,
break glass,
right?
Case of emergency.
Yes, it's enough's enough. Like, we've all beat around the bush enough. They can't be talking about the Jeff Gluck poll being at 20% on the Bristol Night Race.
No.
Right? That is one that the Bristol Night Race is where we please old fans, bring people to make new fans. Right? That is a place where you grandfather passed you down tickets. You know,
hallowed ground.
That's it. And we need to protect that at all costs. So I don't, obviously it was a fluke with whatever happened with the tires at the last race.
Yeah.
But it was right back to default mode. And if you let the race teams choose, they are going to make it easier on themselves. Because for Denny Hamlin or anybody, you know, in a Gibbs car or a Hendrick car or a Penske car, right, they get paid, all the crew chiefs and the drivers and people that make decisions get paid a lot of bonus money to run top 10. Mm-hmm. And the easier top 10 comes, if you know that there's bonus money coming in, you're going to do whatever you can to get it. So NASCAR has to figure out right now how to make this better for next year. Without any team, like the teams have no input in it.
Yeah.
You cannot let the big teams have input in it. You can't. It's like, unfortunately, you can't do it. Unless it comes to like major financial situations, but it's a very tough time. And we can't keep blaming the car because it's just metal, right? Any car we can, there's knobs we can turn on this car to make it work, and we have.
Well, it's horsepower there. You got to be able to spin the tires. You can chatter the tires like I did. Have a real
but
loose
if you
moment.
spin the tires on the outside groove and nobody else can put the power down to pass you.
It's multiple things. I agree. I have been a fan and will continue to be a fan of single lane bottom Bristol. It encourages rooting and gouging, getting guys out of the way, and encourages bumpers touching each other. That's what it is. Now you're going so damn fast in the middle of the corner with as much downforce as the diffuser made with the tall blade with the LaJoie fin on the right side of the window. It had a ton of side force, and you just were hauling ass. And it made it really, really hard to pass.
I don't know. Let's get into the clips.
We didn't even talk about the race whatsoever, actually.
We can't fix it from here, and it's not our job to fix it, but it is our job to say it's time for it to be fixed. Somehow. Right?
Man.
That's easy to say. Everybody goes, fix it, right? But it's time. I would say it's time to hit the panic button.
I would not disagree with that take, and I think that there are some knobs they could turn to do that. I don't know why we just don't put a little bigger taper spacer and give us about 100. But here we go.
Because people say that the top ends can't keep up with it. Like the motor guys.
That's fine.
The motor, you know, whether it be Roush or Hendrick, they say that the top ends can't keep up with it.
Well, then change springs.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like I think that we keep getting told different ways to say no.
Yep.
But you know, if it's not motor, we have to make bigger swings other places.
So let's go ahead and get right into the race. Spun the 22 out. I did feel very bad about this. So I did feel freaking Josh Bilicki. Man, he got lapped about 20 times. And let's hear it here. The 41 like shears off the. Oh, okay. He got loose there and parks it. Oh, okay. I did not see how bogged down the 41 was or how bad of a spot he was. And Joey was trying to turn underneath the 41 as well. And as he was turning down, I got in the back of him. Felt bad about that.
I could say, as a friend, that's a moment for a touch more patience moving forward.
Yeah.
What lap was it?
I don't know.
Middle of the second stage? End of the second stage?
Yeah. And then at this point in time, my push talk button pulled out.
Fire any better for you? You with me?
So I could not.
Yo, you got a copy?
I could not talk to him.
I hear you. I'll still stepping. Got a copy here. Put your hand on the door, buddy. Move it around. Yeah, okay, 10-4. Work on your connections. Can't hear you. Call something else down the front stretch, Stephen. Try to figure it out here.
Hit the choose cone if you can hear me.
The whole time I'm looking at the radio button with the wires hanging out, the leads hanging out. I'm like, guys, I'm not going to be able to talk to them. Sorry. There's nothing I can do. Here running in a pretty good spot, maybe 9th, 10th, somewhere in there.
Man, it looked like he was mad at you, like a right hook from that angle.
No.
But from his in-car, it looked a little different.
So, we had a really good car. We just got the balance solid. We just got the balance really good. I don't know, in position for a top 10 day. Oh.
Now, did it snap back before he hit you?
It was going to be one of those where it was going to be like a ooh, drive out of it, because I wasn't like throwing my hands at it per se. But no, happens there in a hurry. In car, the 4 here, if you're watching on YouTube. Damn it. Yeah, there's some bumps right there on lane 3. So there's like 2 big pow pow.
So what could you have done in that situation for that to not happen? Just take it all the way up to the fence?
Well, I'd been running underneath a 4 for like 5 laps. He was 3 laps down, trying to get to the 48. The 48 was backing up to us. I'd have been 8th or 9th. My car was driving good.
Did you get impatient?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, I was telling myself, okay, be patient here. And I did a little bit of a slider. Was just going to tip into it. Right when I tipped into it, hit those bumps and got loose and looked up in the mirror, and he was on me. And it just yanked to the right and stuff.
So if you would have just taken that run to the top, you think it would have blocked? You would have been past them blocked.
I'd have still been loose if I hit the bumps. Doing it like that. I don't know. Just tipping in the fuel probably a little bit easier, not breaking the right rear tire loose, but just one little moment. It's been like the story of the year, man. It's freaking sucks.
That's it. And then we see the only kind of other notable thing that happened. We talked about Owen runs in and gets on the door, which is
I love how
cool.
hype he gets.
He gets fired up. Which Kyle was a little bit nervous when he was younger about how much he liked racing. He was like, I don't know if Owen really likes it. I think he wants to play baseball. But he seems like with his racing at Millbridge and everything that he is a little more pumped up.
Yes. Getting the fans fired up.
He is into it, dude.
Well, lucky for you, little man, your dad is the best driver of all time.
I wonder what his favorite victory lane is. Knoxville Nationals.
It is pretty cool to see him stand on the wing when he stands up there with him.
Yeah.
Is he wearing a Jumpman shirt?
Yeah.
He is? Do you think Denny Hamlin already has him under a driver contract?
The problem is I heard that people mistook him for Tyler Reddick walking around the garage. It looks just like him. They're about the same size, too.
That's funny. He did. They didn't run very good. I didn't really follow their day, but did they elect to try to get track position and stage points?
I don't know what they ran, but he stayed. Okay, he stayed. I didn't see it. He did stay out, got stage points, which that's a whole nother layer to the race, right? At the end of the race, everybody's kind of in good points position, other than the 54 and the 99.
Yeah,
the 19 had sped, and he's over it. So everybody, since it was a long run, just kind of hung out. Like, saved their tires, ran 80%, ran 70%, because there was a tire wear issue.
Yeah.
Like,
and if the caution comes out with 15 to go,
everybody's pitting and putting tires on it.
Unless you're running 23rd, and you might be able to.
But it's like, okay, let's not blow our tires, we'll just hang out. And then it makes it even more boring.
Yeah.
So Kyle had said in the press conference afterwards that he likes running 100% all the time, like he had to this past race, better than what we did in the spring here, where you had to ride around 50% and save your tires. So that leads us to the question of the week. Would you rather go 100% with an indestructible tire or manage the tires that wear out quickly? What would you think makes a better race?
I wouldn't say that these tires this weekend were indestructible. I mean, there was tire fall off, lap time fall off, but
compared to what we had here in the spring, they were.
I did not like that.
Superman.
I did not like that.
Did not like the spring.
No.
It's too much. You think somewhere in the middle?
But there's so many variables that can take what is considered the middle to what we just saw on Saturday night.
Well, let's just call it a stage, right? If a stage is 150 laps or 125 laps.
Yeah, I'd like
right?
to not be able to go an entire run on tires.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that play into a tire. It's like such a small bullseye for Goodyear to hit to be able to craft a tire, taking into consideration air temperature and sunlight as a day race, as a night race. There's like, dude, there's just so many variables that I have no freaking clue about that seem to be really have an effect on what if the tire lays rubber and how it degrades. But this tire wasn't indestructible. I think if you piss the rear tire off, I mean, there's marbled up, and you can piss the rear tire off and go backwards. There was a little bit of comers and goers in the beginning of the race. But people
we drove forward well at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, and people have this misconception that if you have tires that degrade, you're going to have cars freaking blazing to the front on new tire.
1,000% did in the spring. It looked like video game stuff, and we had some really cool clips. But like I said, it's not fun for the drivers.
No,
it's not fun for the crew chiefs.
No,
because what people would say is that's chaos. Right?
Yep.
People don't like chaos. We don't like chaos. We wanted to be straightforward. This was fine. The tires were. It wasn't fine. We did 3 pit stops at the Bristol Night Race.
Yeah.
It wasn't fine. So they were, in lack of a better terms, a little bit indestructible if they can go 125 laps, green flag, without any issues, and nobody spins out, and, there's no problem. So I don't know, man. Like, I understand where you're coming from a little bit, but we have to find a common ground on everything with the short track package. Yeah. And I say we have to find the common ground, like I'm helping find it. I'm not part of that. NASCAR's part of that. They have the people to do it. If they haven't hit the code red button, I think now is the time for next year, for 2025, to really buckle down. And I don't think teams like it, because I think it ensues a little bit of chaos, but we'll all figure it out.
So be it. Well, we saw the first round of elimination. These would have been, I don't even know if we picked who the 4 were going to be, what we thought going into the race, but we saw Harrison Burton, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., and
Ty Gibbs.
First 4 out. Any of those surprise you?
I thought Ty Gibbs had a little bit more speed. I thought the 19 would hit on something because they have been just so bad. But no, I don't think that it was crazy. No.
Yeah.
I didn't think the 14 really is really strong. They show up when they need to, man. And I'm telling you, I think the 2 car is very good execute. I think it's another good round for the 2 car. I think 3 of our cars can transfer to the next round. So this is going to be a really tough round, man. Kansas is going to be a fun day. A lot of pit stops, so I'm ready to talk about that.
Let's do it. But before that, we're going to have SVG, friend of the podcast, going to sit down, tell us about all the stuff that's happened in his life since he's been last on. He bought a house. He's got a cup deal. Who knows what else he's going to talk about. That's why you got to stick around right after this.
I'm Ryan Flores. Join Kim Kuhn and myself each and every week right here at Around the Track. Whether you are going to the racetrack or watching from home, we get you ready for all things national and regional level.
And we'll tell you who and what to watch for each week. Plus, we get you ready for the weekend at the racetrack, and Erica will help you place your bets to win some easy money.
Be sure to check out Around the Track every Wednesday on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
All right, guys, welcome back. As mentioned, we got our good buddy Shane Van Gisbergen. Join us back in the Nonsense Garage.
I missed you.
It's been several weeks, my friend. A lot of stuff has happened since we've been back in the studio. Congrats on all of it. A couple things. One, the announcement, 88 car, Trackhouse, Cup car next year. We'll get into that here shortly. Also, you own some American soil.
Yeah.
Welcome
good.
to the States. Congrats on buying that house. My man has some acreage. He's got a tractor.
Yep. Kubota.
Kubota, shout out Kubota.
Yep.
What do you wear when you're on the tractor? I picture you with a straw hat and like a piece of straw hanging out.
No, I need to get one though. I need to get a proper hat for the sun, but
like a Red Bull straw hat.
I think I got a Red Bull bucket hat.
Yeah,
that'll do.
Perfect.
Moving some trees, cutting some stuff in. You have some aspirations for the farm over there.
Yep.
Are we going to
racetrack soon?
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell the fans what you're trying to do.
We'll just get some boxes and go racing. So cut a little track out. We've got a few acres with all horses and stuff, but I'm allowed one paddock apparently. So we'll make that into a racetrack. Got a bit of woods and cut a track in, and we'll have some fun.
You did that back home in New Zealand.
Yeah, we do it every year. We make a big race. So
are you gonna you're gonna do that here?
Yeah, we'll just get some buddies around a few.
Yes.
Are there rules?
Probably only 2-wheel drive, and
it could be front or rear.
Yeah, front or rear.
I think we talked about $1,000 claim rule as well.
Yeah, that's probably a good rule. We'll do that. So after the racing, if someone's got a cheater, you can buy it off them. So yeah, stops people spending stupid money. It'd be a bit of fun.
I think I might go with a Miata.
Is the PT Cruiser still here?
It is.
He has a PT Cruiser that's decaled like his grandfather's old modified.
That would be hilarious.
That can be the pace car.
I'll race that thing. You guys, it's already decaled. It's ready to go.
There's a couple boxes out back that we can just start the series up today if we wanted to.
Yeah, it's not far. We'll drive them over.
That's right. Well, congrats on that. Happy to see you have put some roots down. Now, is this a 10-year thing? Is this a...
Oh, who knows? But you know, we're pretty happy here, Jess and I. And you know, the first half of the year we were just in a pretty average B&B, I guess, and it's hard, but you know, you're traveling every week, so you kind of get used to it. But yeah, we found somewhere we liked, and it's pretty affordable here compared to like what's equivalent in Australia and stuff. So found a really cool place, and yeah, pretty settled here for a while, and now we can just focus on racing, try and make it work.
That's right. Well, focus on racing because you have the playoffs coming up.
Yeah.
Regular season championship for the Xfinity Series wrapped up this past week. Now you hit the reset button. Now you're sitting at the top of the heat, right?
I think we're fifth.
Yeah, you were the leader as far as playoff points, but then when they get the extra points for regular season championship and stuff like that, fifth.
I see. Still looking pretty good. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, pretty good. I think the first round, you know, we got Kansas, which I've never been to before, and then you got Talladega, which is just
crapshoot.
Exactly, and then Roval, where we should be okay, but yeah, the first couple will be pretty interesting. New track, and Talladega is just like those tracks are crazy what you go through. But I just see, like watching last week, the pressure people are going through the cut line, and you see people driving like how they don't normally drive. You know, it's crazy. The pressure is so high for these 3 races, so I don't know how I'm going to feel. I'm approaching it like every other race, try and be level-headed about it, have some fun, but you can see how people get sucked into it pretty hard.
I was scanning you at Bristol up in the suite watching you, and you sounded like you were having a damn blast.
I've never had so much fun running 18th. it was epic. I love that place. Like I rolled in.
What about it is cool for you?
Just I don't know how the track moved around. It was so much like a dirt race. You know, practice we were just all on the bottom. I tried some laps up top and there was just no grip. It sucked. And then in the race, people were just moving around, and you can like see and feel the cushion and like where the grip is, where it's not, where you go over it. And then there might be no grip, and you like I made a few mistakes, and you slide up to the wall and then there's grip up there, and it's like, oh, now we're going up here, and just like finding the limits, moving around, and it was epic. And you know, I'm racing mid-pack, but it's still
Hornet's
it was wild.
At Hornet's Nest where you were.
Yeah, and the last run was like 110 laps or something, and I had my tongue hanging out. Like there's no rest. Yeah.
What was your heart rate?
I think it was like 160, but just
flat the
solid.
whole time.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Imagine if everybody just got out of their car and drank beer like Dale Jr. does every time he races.
Everybody
just goes over there and drinks beer with them. Like I was like, why don't we do that every week? Just everybody just get out,
have a cooler sitting there waiting.
I saw you talking. The reason I thought about that is I saw you talking to him after the race.
Yeah, well, after the race, on the cool down lap, he just come and slammed the side out of my car.
Because he just wanted to?
Yeah, I guess so. Because we had a battle early in the race, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything bad to piss him off, but
he probably just wanted to say,
he was just giving me a high five, I think. But yeah, he was right. He was just happy to have a chat, and said he wants to come to New Zealand and stuff, and it'd be cool.
He did say that in his post race. I'll go there and stay with him a couple days, do some stuff. He makes me smile whenever he does an interview, man. He's so freaking happy.
Yeah.
He's so
He looked like he was having fun for the amount of dramas he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interior stuff is not his friend. Last year he was on fire. This year lost his glasses even at one point. But
yeah, he had a situation. Overcame it. Ran 6th. NASCAR is just better when June bug's in a race car, man. It just happens. But bigger news, 88 car. How much conversation went behind closed doors on picking the number?
Not so much on my end, but I assume there was on Justin and Ty at the time. But it's special number with history, and I think Trackhouse, it's a pretty cool symmetry. The 1, 88, 99, pretty cool numbers. But yeah, the history of the 88 is massive here with both Dales, I guess. But for me as well, it was my teammate's number in Australia, Jamie Whincup. Won 7 championships or something, so it's a pretty special racing number for me.
There's cool. You also have built in about give or take 5,000 fans who have an 88 tattoo on their arm already.
Maybe more than that, buddy.
Yeah, you
more
think
pressure.
5,000 is a lot of people with tattoos?
I don't know. It's probably less than that.
I know there's one guy with a 7 tattoo this week that's not having a great day. He's got to go back to the tattoo part.
That's hard to turn into a 51.
Well, congrats on that. What's it shaping up like? How much work you're doing? You mentioned you're going to go doing a little bit more of the DIL work on the Cup side.
Yeah. So we have been already, working with Stephen Doran, the crew chief, who'll be the crew chief next year, and then just sharing more sim sessions with Ross and starting to with Daniel just to, learn about oval stuff, and then, Watkins Glen even last week with Ross, we just kept alternating in the sim and pushing each other, and it seemed to work pretty well. We were both quick, but yeah, just starting to build those relationships and settle into more of the Trackhouse mentality. Yeah.
How's your time with Steve been? He's a quiet guy.
Yeah,
got to peel some layers back, but
but that's the kind of guy I like working with. Quiet, level-headed, but how dedicated he is. He's always in the shop on Monday straight away, and so focused and analytical, data-driven, which is
Steve spent several years as the number 1 engineer for Kevin Harvick and Rodney Tildren on the 4.
Yep.
Came over here.
I don't think he has an engineering degree.
Oh, really?
I think he's a racer. I don't know if he does, but I think he's just a racer that's fallen into an engineering role because he's that smart. Don't quote me on that, but he's a sprint car guy, like we said.
Yeah.
He's made a lot of race cars go fast for a long time on a lot of different levels. So I'm excited for you guys to be teamed up, and it should be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be fun competing against you guys and seeing what you're able to do.
Yeah. Have you lost any sleep about Watkins Glen?
Yeah. About a week. Well, he's just starting to sleep now. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome, buddy.
That's
what friends are for.
I have a theory before we get too deep, but like when you came and ran Chicago, you hadn't. It was kind of like clear eyes. Was there anything that went in that last lap of how much you've been kind of beat around this year, or was it just straight up?
No, not
in there.
Just pushing too hard. Yeah, not at the time.
Because you said the day before, everybody kind of turns at the end of these races, so I just joined them.
Yeah,
so I didn't know if there was like a shift at all.
No, maybe. No, I know at the time, I just remember, he was really good at the turn 1, 2, 3 complex up the hill. And I knew that I gave him a shot the lap before at turn 1 to make the spot. And if he had a chance, he would have given one back. And yeah, I just sent it into the bus stop because I saw how much he was catching me.
Hang on, before you get down to the play-by-play, because I'm super interested in that.
Yep.
You get to the top of the hill, right, and you get onto the main, call it back straightaway, and you look up in the mirror.
Yep.
And you see him how many back?
Would have been 3 or 4 car lengths, but it was catching because I was loose up through 2, had a slide through 3, caught it, and just was chasing it all the way up the hill, And I just saw him.
Are you thinking I need to get a little bit more?
No, I just knew I had to go to the limit. Because if you go to the limit, they're not going to get to you or hard anyway. So.
Right.
But yeah, as soon as I...
What was your brake marker? Do you have brake markers?
No.
You just kind of go off field?
I just go off field, yeah. Not at that corner anyway. And yeah, just...
He's over here with his notebook, brake marker.
Yeah.
Whenever your brake marker? Whenever the sphincter tightens up a little bit, that's when you shift.
No, I didn't really have a marker. But yeah, as soon as I turned, got down the first gear, it just had like a little snap in the rear, and it just aimed me in a little bit. And I just... At the time, I didn't really correct. I just sort of let it guide me in, but it was only the smallest amount.
Clip the wall fairly.
Yeah, and as soon as I clipped the wall, it ripped the wheel out of my hands, and I just couldn't gather it up quick enough. And I got it kind of good, and then he just gave me a little bump out of the fourth apex and pushed me wide.
How crazy is that corner compared to what you've raced before? Because like we have a lot of talk about it, you know, and
some of the bus stop.
Yeah, just in the on the NASCAR side, it's one of our more iconic corners in our series.
Yeah, but like the Gold Coast backstraight chicane is way bigger impacts, curbs, and your top of fourth gear. You know, whereas this is third gear, a lot slower. That Gold Coast chicane, nothing really.
You just launch
compares.
it.
Oh, you just hit the things in. So yeah, it's unreal that. So it doesn't really compare, but the technical aspect of it is pretty tough at the bus stop because there's always dirt, the way the cars hit the curbs. It's pretty hard to get right every lap, as I found out.
George used to say, if you're going to f***ing hit the curb, mate, f***ing hit it. That's what he would always say. I guess that's the rule
fully
over
commit,
there. Like,
You can't not, because it seems like if you miss the curb, you just kind of get yourself in no man's land. If you just commit to freaking blasting it, it helps car work.
Everything. So
well, and you guys, like you've said before, lock diff, so you got to use them.
Exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I've thought about what I could have done different 500 times. Like it's a tough one, but it happens.
I talked to you on Sunday morning, right? About you're potentially going to come on the podcast, and you're like, "Nah, man, I'm just."
Yeah, I don't feel like
don't have
talking
many words
today,
and I'm like, I understand that. Did
you talk to Marcus at all after it?
No, I didn't. But you know,
it was crazy the storylines, like with Brad's car, but it was a good race. You know, it sucks that you didn't come out on the other end of it. The Xfinity race seemed scrappy the day before.
It was pretty wild. Yeah, we didn't have a very good car that weekend, which sucked. And but yeah, we were riding the shit all weekend and got pushed around at the end a fair bit at some wild battles there, but it kind of happens.
Talk about your new Red Bull teammate in Connor Zillich.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that morning or the day before, we did sign him up as a Red Bull driver, presented him his helmet. That's pretty awesome. And then he smoked everyone on ARCA race and Xfinity race. That was pretty impressive.
Did you expect him to be that strong?
Yeah. Watching those JR cars all year and how they brake, how they drive, I thought if a good road racer gets in this, no disrespect to the other guys obviously, but if someone gets in that car who knows really what they're doing, they're going to kill everyone.
How much have you raced with him over at the Motorplex?
Oh, we haven't actually.
Really?
No, that's the first time I raced him, but we've shared the track with him.
Seem to watch each other's lap times though and know where everybody kind of ranks up.
Well, he's also a world champion go-karter.
Yeah, but it'd be silly to race him in a go-kart.
And was he that much better?
Oh yeah. And he's like 35 kilos.
Wow,
yeah,
that's good.
I don't know how many pounds that is.
Yeah,
probably a lot. 50.
I'd say going out there racing with him though, and what you guys do has made you better
for sure.
I mean, run top 10 at Watkins Glen. You've qualified better. It's and like Larson's out there doing it. Everybody, more people are out there running shifters.
Yeah, I stopped doing it now though.
Have you?
I get like it's fun and a good exercise, but it's just bad habits. Like it's not relative to a stock car at all. So it was kind of good training, but now I jump in a car and nothing relates. So it
definitely is not the same.
And you have a farm to tend to.
Yeah, well now we're going to get paddock cars, so that's probably more relatable.
For sure. Crown Vic through the woods is definitely more relatable to Kansas than it is a shifter cart. In layman's terms, I think it's always been cool as just a fan of the sport to see what guys carry a Red Bull helmet. Even though I'm a Celsius guy, there's been certain guys who come in, right, that wave the banner, even back to even Robbie Gordon. Remember, he was a Red Bull guy back in the day. Then Red Bull comes in, has their own team. Scott Speed's still super integrated with the brand, and now you come in and almost like revitalize Red Bull NASCAR, and now you're starting to see it trickle down to Connor and some others. How does it work to like be one of the chosen few that gets to wear a bull on the side of your helmet?
Yeah, it is a privilege, and like I remember as a kid at motocross, an Australian guy come over, and I was like 8 or 9, and you just see this guy walking around or riding around with a Red Bull helmet in the pits. You go, this guy's he must be good, and then you see him racing, and you know he is like just there's a
who would that have been like? Max
I can't even remember his name, like it was years ago, you know, but there's just that aura around it. And you know, when I joined the Red Bull racing team 2016 in Australia, and you get the helmet, you're like, it's pretty cool to be representing. You know, it's just a cool brand. It's out there, and you know, it's pretty special to be a part of it. You know, and to get the drinks free. I love Red Bull.
Well, I've got a cooler full of Celsius here too. We're gonna have a little energy drink competition.
Yeah. But yeah, you see.
Do you get the invitation to put together one of those soapbox derby cars? I would love
Talk.
to.
Can you let us sign up for the one where you drive off the side of that?
See how far you can fly.
We went to that and to watch, but not participate. So Jamie Whincup did a soapbox race and crashed, hit his head pretty hard, and scratched up his helmet. And
no, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, we got banned from that. Yeah,
we want to do it. I feel like we are at a point in life where we need to do this.
Yeah.
So we'll talk off
Yeah,
air
connect
about
us
that.
via email with whoever makes that happen. We'll provide entry.
What have you been to any of those crazy, like other crazy events that they do? They do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, and
what's the air race too? Have you been to?
I haven't been to the air race. I went to New Jersey up here a few months ago. We did a beach race on UTVs and stuff, and got to drive around, do the jumps, and that was epic and wild to watch that. There was like 40 dudes in a line going into a 2-wide corner, and it was just carnage.
I'm sure New Zealand's nice, but the Jersey Shore is paradise.
Yeah, I don't think it was filmed in this place.
The most beautiful place in the world. But anyway, moving on.
Moving on. What else is there to talk about? It's been so long since you've been. How's Ronald?
Yeah, he's going pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, cruising.
So we talked before. Jess has a job at Chevy.
Yep.
And she was at the IMSA WeatherTech race at Indy, and I said, "How'd they do?" And you said, "I don't know." And I said, "Now you are a true NASCAR American. You only know about NASCAR anymore." So congratulations to graduating that. How's that job been for her?
Yeah, she likes it. Trying to just still settle in and find her feet a bit, but she goes to a lot of races. Like I think when she started, she had Indy, then Sonoma, then Le Mans, all at the start. Like she went to some epic races and just trying to be a part of GM and make it better, make all the programs work together a bit better. It's like she's motorsport integration manager, it is. So it's a pretty cool job. And yeah, she was at the 6 hour on the weekend at Indy, and I don't know who won. Hopefully Chevy did, but she had fun. So
I thought
I saw
cool. They might have won with Cadillacs, by the way.
It's crazy though, like when you come here, the life changes that you have to make, right? And like everybody sees you on TV, like winning the races, and they think it's all great, but like the life change you have to make, and then the life changes Jess had to make, because like, dude, total foot and mouth situation. We were at your pool, and I was like, "Oh, did you work at the team?" She goes, "The team in Australia." "Did you work with Shane's team in Australia?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, I owned it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm going back. My kids are calling me. I gotta go."
I gotta go.
But she had her own life and her, you know, a lot of stuff going on over there, and she moves with you and gives all that up. So it's had to be tough navigating that as well.
Yeah, but you know, that's her thing though. She's still gone and done her own thing, got her own job and her side of the life, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I used to watch every F1 race, watch all the GT in Europe, supercars and IMSA, but now you just don't have time. And
you're running, you're working out, you're simming.
Yeah, and you're watching all 3 series, trying to understand, learn and get better every week and study for the next race. Like you just don't have time anymore or the care. Like you're just so entrenched in what you're doing. It's pretty cool.
When did you officially like move into your house? Like when? January? End of January?
Move where?
When it would like get here?
We got here mid-December.
Okay.
Yep.
So you've been here 9 months.
Yep.
Has it gone what you expected? Completely different than what you expected?
It's been what I hoped. Yeah.
Okay.
Like racing every week. I didn't know if I'd get to this time of year and be over it, you know, but I have loved racing every week. And then I'm like, there's only 7 weeks to go now. Like it's come around really quick. And yeah, every week, as I said, I went to Bristol and come 18th, but I was buzzing. Like it was the coolest race. Still learning, still getting better every week. Yeah,
What are your top 3 tracks you've been to so far?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
That is a good question. Probably Darlington, Sonoma, and Bristol.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you listed road courses, I was gonna say gotta be ovals, but
yeah,
those are 3 great tracks.
They are. Man, I had a thought and I lost it, but I would say you talked about earlier, you're about to go into your first playoffs, and you talked about watching the pressure that everybody's under and watching the races progress differently. Is there any situations that you've been in your racing career like what you watched on the cutoff race this past weekend, or like what you're about to be into this week?
Yeah, maybe 2016. I was on the championship decider. I had a good buffer, and I started that race on the Saturday and just drove completely different. You know, if my teammate won, I had to finish 8th or something, you know, and I was riding around in 5th, way faster than everyone in front, trying not to make mistakes, and just, you know, I didn't commit to a pass and spun someone out, got a penalty, you know, but I just drove tight, and I was just like, oh, that's not not me. And then I got the penalty, went to the back and just drove like crazy how I normally would, and got back to 4th or 3rd or something. But I learned a lot from that. You just gotta relax and not try and not get caught up in the point situations. And obviously you need to know if you got to get a couple of points, but you're driving the fastest you can normally anyway.
I like this time of year because you're so week to week anyway.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, okay, this one's over, we're on the next one. But now it's so much, it's like magnified. You're like day to day preparing for the weekend coming, and then it's like you're only worried about Kansas, and then you're done with Kansas, then you're on to Talladega, and it's I like this time of year, but it is not for the faint of heart.
A little bit of turnover though, I think, since you've been on the podcast. Bruce left.
Yeah, Bruce left.
So who's been like kind of running the ship for the 97 car?
So Kevin Walter, who was Josh Williams' crew chief, new crew chief this year, he changed over, and it's been a little tough because Bruce was awesome. Mainly just because he's, so experienced and was teaching me about the car and always patient with me and, learning what I needed.
System?
Yeah. Well, I don't understand that. Jesus. But yeah, Kevin's been good, but we've lost a little bit of guidance just because I don't really know what to tell him yet with the car, and I'm trying to give his best feedback I can. But it was good though. We had 3, 4, 5 races now before the playoffs to settle in. So we have picked up. Darlington was good, and communication has got better, so I'm sure we'll be fine. But it's hard losing someone as important as that mid-year.
Is it feasible to think you can contend for a win on an oval in the Xfinity Series, finish the year? Where do you feel good about going?
I don't know about winning. I'm still a fair way away from that, I think, but I don't think
College cars are in the conversation yet either. They're struggling a little bit over there.
Yeah, but I hate blaming the car because I still got too much to learn. So
you don't have to. We'll do that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I just base off where I am to AJ, right? Yeah, and because I know AJ should be winning races, and even at Bristol, he was at the back half of the 10 or just outside, and we were close. That's what I try and compare to. But winning, I'm not sure yet. We obviously need to make the cars better, but I need to be better too. But how far we can go in the playoffs?
Now, I don't think that. Have you been to Martinsville yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that, and I love that race until the last 2 laps. Then it was just.
The guys lose their absolute.
You're totally vulnerable.
I may as well take all the brakes out of the car. It was ridiculous.
No, the guy in front of me will stop me.
Yeah. I've never been a part of anything like that. That was like my 4th race or something.
You're like, what?
What is going on? Oh man. I wonder too. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but Talladega. So the first time you go super speed race, you're probably just like system overload.
Well, my first one was Daytona, and I'm just like, that's the stupidest race to have your first one. Like, qualifying was easy, but I've qualified 5th or 6th, I think, my first ever race. But then it's just carnage at the start, and I think Parker Kligerman, we were talking after, he just called me a menace because I just had no idea what I was doing. I was hitting people into corners, and I didn't know any different.
He flipped over in practice there one time. He's got no room to talk.
But I remember like my watch after. I was like 180 revs the whole time, tapped out.
Yeah.
Just like hanging on. I was wrecked after the race. Then I went to Talladega and I'm like at 80, just at idle, just cruising until the end.
My question is like, at what point do you go, like, okay, I'm done with being like completely overloaded, and now I can like focus. Like, okay, I digest it. I understand the moves I need to make. I understand when I need to wait. Like, how much of that is studying film or just doing it?
It's a bit of both. Like, you can study all you want, and like even Bristol, like I got comfortable on the sim and watched all the film. But when you get out there, it's completely different. When you feel like the G into the corner when the car loads up, you can't simulate or study for that stuff. So it just takes time. But probably Darlington was the biggest as well. Like, that's a tough track, and I remember first time we went there I was running 15th or 16th, struggling, hanging on, and then last time we went I got up to 5th or 6th and comfortable, making moves. Like, the second time you go to somewhere, you know what to expect. You're just so much calmer, whereas still going to these new places, like you're hanging on.
Kansas, you'll be like, this place is fast.
I'm sure it'll be the same. And watching that, on the wall at that speed, it's pretty scary. Kansas, like the things, it's so hard to explain what the air does to someone who doesn't know. Like, you know, the air.
There's a lot of people that know on social media how to drive.
Yeah,
I've learned that.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
and what the wall does to the car, and like, there's so many factors that you just don't understand. It's pretty amazing sport.
And the truck arm, like especially with the truck
Oh,
arms and the
'cause
skew, and it's like
Sidewall
whoa,
flexing.
that's fun.
Yeah,
It's fun that you're learning that. Do you feel, when you put a bow on this Xfinity season, do you feel that you're prepared to go cup racing?
I think so. I'm glad I did a year before jumping straight into cup. That would have been difficult. But every time I jump in a cup car, it feels normal. Like the way the rear end is, and I feel in control and know what's happening. Whereas the Xfinity car with that rear end underneath is like driving a forklift, you know, with the rear steer. And so yeah, I've learned a lot.
Put it.
Yeah,
It is.
I've learned a lot, but I haven't. You know, it's not relative to a cup car really in some ways. But
Like you said, they're just going to the racetracks and knowing how to get off and on pit road, the nuances of where the grip is.
yeah, just the racing, the rules, how to do everything. I think it's definitely been a year to learn for experience, and then next year it'll be like starting again, but at a better level, ready to go.
So what cup tracks have you run? Like what cup races have you run? You've run Coke 600.
Yep.
Road course run a couple, but like
We did Atlanta, Darlington, Talladega, and then I think I'll do Martinsville again later in the year. So that'd
In
be
the cup car?
Yeah, that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's and is there's a big difference in the Xfinity car to the cup car? when
Yeah,
you run
the cup car just feels like a GT car, heavy GT car with the downforce. You know, when the car slides, you feel like the rear tire go, you know, it's an actual slide. Whereas in an Xfinity car, you don't know if it's the tire or the diff or the air, like it's...
Or the track bar that's got to stand off this far.
Yeah, whereas the cup car, what's happening is actually happening, and you're driving on the edge the whole time. So
Do you realize there's a
normal.
difference in racecraft of the quality of driver at the cup level, or...
Yes and no. Like, I think there's just more good people, but the top 15 of Xfinity are pretty darn good too. But yeah, in the cup it's different, you know, especially at Coke 600, I realized how much people were air blocking and just looking at the mirror, basically moving around trying to block you, and it's completely different.
For 30th.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are we doing back here?
Yeah, it's like a game, you know, people, it's completely different style.
Yeah.
But the cars are so equal, which sometimes is a detriment to racing, but if you hit on it, you can be up there.
That's right.
Is a Coke 600 anywhere close to as long as the Bathurst 1000?
Well, I only did half it. It got rained out. So,
it did?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good point.
Darlington was probably the longest race I've done, and the car wasn't very good either, so it was a freaking long race.
Long one, dude.
Yeah.
Especially if your stuff's not very good.
Yeah.
I'm curious about your perception on how the sport, just the media and how much stuff you have to do to promote, or is it more, or is it less than what you're used to?
Way less.
Okay.
Yeah, way
Now,
less.
here.
Yeah, like not even, it's a quarter probably what we do down there, but
Really?
it's more quality stuff. You know, it seems more meaningful. Like when you
this
go to
podcast.
yeah, even that. But you go to like the track, and we'll do 2 appearances, say at Bristol or normal, and the people are there. You're there for a long time, and yeah, it feels awesome. Whereas in Australia, you do 15 or 20, and it just gets diluted and doesn't have the same meaning. But yeah, you feel here you can speak your mind a bit more as well and not get judged as much, whereas you just get smashed in Australia for saying anything of opinion.
Really?
Yeah, whereas here, like the stuff that Denny Hamlin says,
I was just going to say that.
You'd get just killed in Australia for saying that, basically, you know. Whereas here, he can say what he wants, and people like it or they don't. But
Land of the free, home of the brave. But
yeah, I think it's
freedom
good.
of speech.
I think it's really good.
But does that... So is that like that's on a race weekend thing? But you have 18 race weekends in the V8 Supercars?
I think it's 12.
12. So you have 35 here. So I guess it probably averages out.
Time,
averages out. But here, I think every week there's a story out of the weekend. Whether it was Watkins, the good finish, or Bristol, not such a good race. Like every week there's something to speak about before the next week.
Yeah.
Like the sport is just ever evolving. Like there's something different every week, something to work on, something to make better, and it's always, I find, exciting. Whereas it can be stale in other sports, I think, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Have you made good buddies with any other drivers that you're surprised to be friends with, or
not?
No, most are pretty good. Yeah, like he's
I
kind
don't know
of
if there was somebody you hang out with more than others, or
Who do you hang out with?
like Scott a little bit, yourself, but yeah, I don't. It's kind of hard, to be enemies with someone. Like I spun out Brandon Jones at Darlington, and then you got to call him and deal with it. But then I found myself the next week at Atlanta racing around him. Like you can't be enemies
riding
with
in
someone.
the truck with them after driver intros.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you can't just be in it because you see them every week and end up racing around them. So
Corey
I kind of
said
just
it
get along
well,
with everyone.
Because Corey said it well, and you used to park differently than we park now, because you park per point system, not kind of clumped up as a team.
Okay.
But inevitably, you would be pissed off and you'd spin out the guy that you're parked next to in the garage, because you're running next to each other every week. You're right there in points. And I was like, oh, that's a good point.
And then odds are, if you crash that guy one week, you're probably going to be running near him the next week.
Yes.
Thinking about it the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was always
game.
awkward in the garage, or like now more so. It's like we always talk about it. You spin somebody out, and then you have to ride in the truck with them next week for driver intros. Like it always happens.
Yeah.
So
The racing gods have a
part
sense of
of
humor. They really do. Well, we're proud of you here at Stacking Pennies, buddy. You've done a hell of a job, and we wish
Thank
you luck
you.
in the playoffs. Thanks for
Thank
popping
you.
in.
Thanks for having me.
Shane Van Gisbergen, everybody, joining us. Nonsense Garage. More Stacking Pennies coming up. Ralph. All right, we're back for some pit road boats and woes. Now the SVG has left the studio. Let's just go ahead and start with the big woes. Not the 14, but the 19 and the 54, if you will's day and playoff and season, for all intents and purposes, is over due to a speeding penalty.
Dang it.
Dude, let's go ahead and we got some clips for you. We got the audio. Let's go ahead and run it.
54, also too fast on pit road, section 6.
Dude, when you are a driver and you were up against your lights, whether it was accident, leaving your pit box or something like that, and you hear them key up and they tell you, you're just like,
Oh, yeah. So it's right there, that section?
yeah. So it's a radius section.
19 will start to show along the line. It was too fast on pit road, section 9. 19.
Oh, he was 9, so he was the other end of the corner.
Yeah, when the old spotter keys up, we're too fast there. So you see the 19 running the radius of the corner.
Oh, he lifted there at the end of it.
Well, you have to, because when you go from the, what do you call it, a pie-shaped section,
Yeah.
you're running 4 more. Everybody's dash is a bit different. Let's just say that on my dash there's 10 lights. They have 6 lights that are green for the straightaway, and then you bump up 4 red lights for the corners.
I hate that for the 19 team, because
And you have to slow down to your green lights when you get back on the straightaway.
Yeah, bomb. Mm-hmm. He said we were 0.09. Well, it's 5.09. I stand on that hill because they give
No,
us
it's 0.9.
I thought he said
5.9.
I thought he was 0.09.
No, it was almost a full mile an
It's
hour.
full mile an hour. Okay, so he was wrong. But the 19 team this year, they have struggled in the pit box notably. They've been very vocal, even James Small and Martin, about their pit crew struggling. They made some changes. Thomas Hatcher, who's champion of the sport, veteran tire changer, on the front. They moved Lee Bob to the back. They get better. They were the 3rd best team on average at Bristol. They did a great job. They did everything they had to do to transfer. And have a small mistake like that take you out of it, man. It's so tough for all of them. But it's the story of the last 10 weeks for them. And
there is such a...
He'll be lucky to get Martin to show up for practice now, it seems like.
There is such a feeling of letdown, and disgust is kind of the word that comes to it. Like when you leave the track and you have nothing else happen all day, and you come in the pits top 5, top 10, and you speed, and then you're relegated there for the rest of the day because you lost all your track position. That is a brutal feeling, dude. Like, and he even said it after the race. He said, man, I feel like he comes in running second, in the position to make the next round, and in one instance 0.9 miles an hour takes him out of the playoffs. And he said it in the post race, you let the feeling of letting people down, and that is how fine the margins are in the Cup Series these days.
That's it. So there was an instance before this, though, where we felt like Blaney was pretty sure that he should have been penalized before, and I think they have the tape. He passed us coming to pit road, and Blaney's like, that's pulling up the pit, dude. So let's hear.
The 19 pulled up the pit. That's bull. You can't do that.
I noticed that. It happened so quick with, we were in one, but when they said open it, they never do that.
He still can't pass me.
Oh, literally passed him.
Not defending him.
Yeah, that should have been. He should have been put back there.
How
can't do that.
I don't know how you can do that. So Blaney was furious about that, and we had a longer stop there too, so he was letting us have it on the radio as well. Appreciate that. So then we go on to the actual stuff inside the pit box. So that being said, he got away with one there.
Yeah.
Ball don't lie. Speeding on the next one.
Yes. Ball don't lie.
Now we get into the 4. I saw the 14 had a slow pit stop. I didn't know what it was from.
Whoa!
Okay,
Whoa!
If we go back,
that's pretty cool.
Shane Pala. If you go back to the start
Dude, that
of it,
thing, how fast is that thing spinning?
it's spinning fast.
Yes.
See how when he pulls
Just say
it,
a number. They don't know.
I don't know.
1,200 RPM?
12,000. Sure. If you go back to the start of this, when he pulls the right front tire, it cocks a little bit. Doink, doink. See that little cock? Well, that changes the angle of your gun on the snout, and it pulls the lug nut out of your socket, and it's just barely hanging in. And the minute you bump the trigger or touch anything with it, it falls out between his legs, and it was still spinning. So that means that it probably was still spinning on the end of the hub. When he pulled it, it fell between his legs, and when it falls, it'll sit there and it'll spin just for enough for you to see it. And then right when you want to go grab it, it goes
Nope.
Toof, and takes off. It's like every time. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's like a little cartoon character.
Yes.
Like,
yep. It's like, nope, can't get me. And you don't want to grab it anyway because it's going to cut your fingers up. So you just always go right. Like your instinct is you see it spinning and you're like, ooh, I want that. It's like, yeah, I want
it's
that.
gone,
Give
bro.
me that. It's like the little coin spinning on Mario Kart.
Yeah,
but you
don't
know
go
the
for
turtle
it.
guy's coming to eat you.
Yeah.
So you got to get the hell out of there. So you just got to go for the one on your belt.
Go for the one that's not moving.
As attractive as that spinning lug nut on the ground looks, you got to just write it off.
It's dead.
Let it go. It's gone. It's
gone
never
forever.
coming back.
No, it's not.
The pit road gods own it now. That one's dead. That one's
dead to me.
It lives in Bristol now.
Yep.
Crazy incident. Speaking of sparks, on the
Holy
43.
moly.
So Jason Schultz captured this. I saw it on his Instagram. Sent it to Higgy. So if we go back to the very beginning of this,
Is Jason Schultz the Schultz head?
no,
Fuel guy?
Jason Schultz is the guy that used to be. So go back to the very start and pause it.
Yeesh.
If we go back to the
Scary
very start
stuff
and
here.
pause it, the fuel head is spraying fuel. And as Josh Leslie comes around, he falls in the fuel that's on the ground. He slips in it.
This is the carrier?
The
Or
rear
changer?
changer. When he slips in the fuel, the socket hits the ground and his
Sparks.
His finger simultaneously hits the trigger and it spins on the ground and sparks. But the reason the fire is so far on the other side is the Schultz fuel head was stuck open, so it was spraying gas.
Oh, my goodness.
So he literally had a flamethrower in his hand, and he's just spraying flames.
Did he change the tire?
No, he didn't change the tire.
Oh.
So he sets the can down, which is the right thing to do to stop the flow of it, but he sets it right on the air hose. Then the guy behind the wall pulls the air hose and flips the can back over. And they were finally like, just get out of here, come back, because of the situation that happened to the 99 at Talladega where he sat there and the car started on fire and then they were out of the race.
Yeah.
So, or Daytona, yeah. So, man, that's a big fire. That is one of the bigger fires that I've seen in a long time. So,
That's a whoa.
that's a whoa.
Faux show.
That's a whoa. And Dogs of the Week, we'll give it to the 5 this week, man. Great job on those guys. The 19 was great, too. The 11, I think, was best on average, but the 5 car held serve every time they came down pit road. They had a great day, multiple 8s. They had two of the top 5 fastest pit stops of the race. Those guys are firing all cylinders, heading into the next round of the playoffs. So not only is Kyle Larson great, not only is Cliff Daniels great, pit crew's great as well. They got everything they need to contend for another championship. 5 car Dogs of the Week. Penny for the thoughts?
We got some thoughts, and you got some questions.
Cool. Want the first question?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. If you could race your dad and grandpa, oh, this is a good one. If you could race your dad and grandpa at one track in one car, where would it be? Caveat, who wins?
Well, I feel like prime for prime. Everybody talks about how good my grandfather was, Don LaJoie, New England Auto Racing Hall of Famer, like a 7-time Danbury Race Arena champ. So I would go to his home turf. I'd go to Danbury Race Arena. It's got a mall on top of it now, but back in the day, in its heyday in the early 70s, they say that place was pretty cool, like a flat, small 3/8. That way, because I feel like I've honed my craft of being a race car driver quite a bit. They didn't have the tools and the resources that I've been exposed to for the last couple of years. So I would extend a little bit of home field advantage to my grandfather as well as my dad, and I would pick a current modified.
Oh,
I think that'd be really cool.
That would be.
To get prime Big Ran, prime Don LaJoie.
You're giving Don LaJoie power steering? Probably never had power steering back in the day.
No, he probably just unhooked the lines and just put a T in there.
Yeah.
He don't need power steering. That'd be fun. I think I'd take the cake there.
Okay.
I haven't seen any.
Don't sleep on Randy LaJoie, dude. IROC champ.
He won one.
Or IROC race winner.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
He's done good and everything.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I'd smoke him though.
Okay. Next question. What's the best piece of memorabilia in the Nonsense Garage? Man, that's a tough question.
We had a new addition. If you're watching on YouTube, do you see it? It's the poster, the 1987 Winston.
Oh boy. I think you really got it out. There's debate. I think you really got it out.
I think so. If you're on your camera, if you're on your TV or something, just zoom in. Let us know. I don't think it is.
If you know, you know.
I don't think it is. But we have a couple. We can talk about it. We got some cool stuff. We've got a cool Jack Daniels barrel here that's now a diecast car shelf. We got the Golden Dale, the Copperdale.
Bobbleheads.
We got a Days of Thunder VHS tape case.
Man, I don't know this. Oh, dude. Rowdy Burns, number 51. You're number 51 now?
I might have to crack the glass on that case and wear the suit this week.
Oh my goodness. If you guys if you could just run the 51
Exxon scheme
like all year long.
I'd be fine
Talk
with that.
all your partners into just the same that sponsor. Exxon font.
I thought about doing a video, getting Sean to make it like a walk up, put my bag on the hood. I lost my ride.
Oh my God.
You mean after 5 top 5s, a couple top 10s, you lost your ride? No, you got fired? No, I lost my ride.
I was traded.
I was traded for my ride.
It's got to be that.
That one's pretty cool. Signed by Michael Rooker, who played Rowdy Burns. David Pearson's my all-time favorite NASCAR driver. Got a signed diecast car of his, Mario Andretti. Got a DJ Moore jersey there. Got a couple cool things. Danny McBride signed Kenny Powers jersey. Got a lot of cool stuff. Also, one of my favorite things as well of the studio is the hero wall.
Love it.
We have an American flag hero. What do they call those coins?
Challenge coins.
Challenge coins. Got several challenge coins up there and a lot of cool patches from people's helmets or...
My friend Greg sent me the history of a challenge coin. It's really cool.
Yep.
I'll have to read that too.
So I appreciate all the people who have added their challenge coins to the rack. And I also appreciate people who listen to the show each and every week, which gets us to the penny stackers. Nobody quite stood out this week. There was plenty of people out there that are looking and asking for some new merch.
There was 2 guys that stood out to me. One of them works with the Luca.
Yeah, they had the penny stacker. They had the Stacking Pennies shirt and hat.
There was a lot of people that stopped me as I walked by, like, "Yo, tell Cory we still love him. Tell Cory we're with him. Keep Cory's head up." And those guys, I stopped and talked to them for a minute, and they're like, "Yeah, we usually wear Logano stuff. I usually wear, whatever they wear." But they said we're full blown. Cory, we got Ford hats. We're in. So there's a lot of people that do support. There's been a lot of people on social media that have not been nice, but you do have,
I don't care about those people.
I know. That's what's nice. You do have people that genuinely care and genuinely want to see you succeed. And so I would give it to those guys, man. They were pumped up. They were on your side.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I didn't get their names. Shout out to those guys. Shout out to the people who are just grown men that talk on social media to whoever else too. I'm sure those guys
especially
are
the ones that send me Instagram messages to tell you stuff. I'm like, you took the time out of your day to write that?
Well, I'm sure those people are doing really productive things with their life too. Pretty much like racing drafty car all day long.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but you, sir, I don't think we've talked about this. You got to the top of the peak.
I did.
And then you deleted the app.
Walked away. Carl Edwards.
Walked away on top.
Catch me out my farm doing jiu-jitsu. I also I won ARCA, won truck, went really deep in Xfinity, got wrecked the last 3 races, lost the Xfinity championship, but I got 5 of them in real life, so I was okay with it, and I went cup racing. I just sold everything, bought me 3 cup cars, put everything I had into it.
Yep.
Started the year, I finished like 15th, 14th, 15th, 12th, and then I went to my body shop, my engine shop, borrowed some money.
Yep.
And, buddy, we won the cup championship. And I buckled down. I buckled down. I said, you know what? I'm going to play this game. I'm going to win the cup championship. I was sponsored at the Home Depot.
Yep.
20 car was my sponsorship. That was number 15. And I put my phone on airplane mode. I was getting my traps needled and stem on them, and I just raced. And I finished it in the green room at NASCAR before around the track. Won the race, walked over to Higgy's desk, showed him. I auctioned off all my stuff. So if you guys go to ironhorseauction.com, I'm sure it's on there. You get my drafty car trailer. I had over $1 million in the bank, and I deleted the game.
Can you get that in Bitcoin?
I don't even. I think it's probably worth less than Bitcoin now than it is drafty car coin. I've had a lot of people reach out to me about drafty car. I sometimes tend to take the reach of this show for granted until stuff like that, and then you realize, like, damn, a lot of people listen to this, or at least watch the clips that Sean puts up.
A lot of people watch.
So that was good.
I am halfway through my first Xfinity or Grand National Series season. Those boys don't play. Those boys don't play. It's solid up there. I had to work on my car, put some horsepower in, and take a little downforce away.
Yep.
She's a little edgy, but she's fast.
Yeah. Good luck. It's that one's tough because the lanes come at the end. You don't want to get up in the mix too much.
I've had to, I had a fairly busy week, so I didn't get to really knock out a ton of drafty car experience this week. I'll get back on the horse this week, going to Kansas in the Bird. I'll get to the Cup Series and see if I can hang.
Keep sending us your drafty car stats and your paint schemes. Duncan Moser sent me his. He's got the Good Wrench.
Yes.
It's called Wood Bench, and it's the black and white, or black and silver with the red. It's the number 3. But a couple shout outs, man. Cole Custer crushed it on Xfinity Day. When those guys are hot, they're hot. And obviously it's going to shift to Haas Factory Team, but to watch those Stuart Haas guys roll on in the championships and have a success, man, there's a lot of good people there, and I wish them nothing but the best. Dale Jr. runs 7th.
NASCAR racing's better when Dale Jr. is in the field. Super excited. Also, just pulls the cooler up to the back of the car and just drinks like you're at Myrtle Beach Speedway.
I don't know why everybody just doesn't have a beer. Like everybody, PR chicks come to the car with a water.
Yeah.
Bring me a cold one.
Yeah, give me a Busch Light.
Give me a Coors Light. Lane Riggs, back-to-back. Didn't blow his shoulder out of
That's
his
the biggest win of the night, was keeping your shoulder in socket all night during the celebration.
That's it.
And, also shout out to all the Corey LaJoie fans. I have to throw out a bunch of 7 merch now. We're going to get some stuff keyed up for you. But there's also Stacking Pennies merch available on CoreyLaJoieRacing.com if you want some of that, and we're going to figure all that out. Big week going to Kansas. New car, new faces, new opportunities. Driving a blue oval. A lot of turnover, but at the end of the day, I'm going to sit in it. I don't see the number on the side. So Kansas has been one of my favorite intermediate tracks. You get up there, run the fence, a lot of different grooves. I anticipate a strong showing for the first one out for the 51. Whew.
This Thursday.
Oh,
Kickball draft.
Goodness.
It's a great one, dude. We had Ricky Stenhouse, Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace, and yourself. I mediated it. They did a draft. You're going to see who the Kickball Classic teams are. It was hilarious. Good luck to everybody that had to edit that video. I hope that they don't put anybody in the line of fire. But it was a lot of fun, man, getting the buddies together and picking team.
Yeah.
Even FaceTime Bob Pockers.
Yeah, that was good. John Chris, Kurt Coleman, we FaceTime those fellas as well. A lot of fun to be had in there, and you're going to probably want to take that in on YouTube. Really, they put a lot of back-end effort into that. So for your watching and listening enjoyment, see a side of the drivers you have probably not seen before. Getting ready for the Kickball Classic October 10th. We're going to raise a lot of money for the YMCA and Samaritan's Feet. You can get your tickets on CoreyLaJoieRacing.com or just show up to the day of.
Yep.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun at Kansas this week.
As always, follow us on Instagram. There's a lot of good stuff. Sean's always posting Arctic giveaway. There's a lot of great clips. _ Stacking Pennies. Tweet us. Penny for your thoughts, questions. You're going to have a lot of questions after this week, man. A lot of questions are going to be answered after this week with you in the 51. I'm excited to see it. So, yeah. Are you excited to get to the racetrack?
I am. I'm excited to go to the simulator here at 3 o'clock. Get fitted in the car. Good thing about the cars nowadays, you just literally just take your seat out and rails and plug it into the next one.
That's it.
Make
sure you put the boat switch in the right spot so you don't punch it and shut the car off again.
It is in a different spot, so it's going to be just fine. Yeah, buddy. Big stuff. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for you guys to be along for the ride and give you guys a peek behind the curtain. Whether you're listening to us on SiriusXM or where you find your podcast or YouTube, appreciate you, and listen to the race this week, 3 p.m. on USA or MRN or SiriusXM or the NASCAR app, and you can ride front seat with me in that Mustang this weekend. And we're stacking pennies. Have a great week. Appreciate you guys. Goodbye.